There is no federal minimum age for child marriage in the United States. In fact, between the year 2000 and 2015, over 200,000 children under the age of 18 were married. Now, a new CBSN Originals documentary explores the effort to change these numbers and also examines the surprising opposition that's making it an uphill battle.
There were groups that consider themselves feminist and consider themselves progressive that said that somehow ending child marriage is going to impede reproductive rights. It's going to undermine reproductive rights, and therefore they were opposed to it.
We're the policy and political arm in the state of Maryland for reproductive rights. When you ban marriage under the age of 18, what you're doing is not recognizing that the right to marry is a reproductive health rights and justice issue. 16 and 17-year-olds have the right to be supported. They're not children. They're not toddlers.
My name's Carmen. I'm 17.
My name is Blake Littlejohn. I'm 19.
We have been married for 3 months.
The law doesn't know who you are, what you've been through. Like, the law is not you. Can't tell you you're not grown. They don't know what you've been through in your life.
There's a lot of kids that have to grow up fast.
How young is too young?
15 and 16, that's probably too young, in my opinion. You gotta at least know what the real world's like.
And CBSN Originals producer Elaisha Stokes joins me now. Hi, Elaisha. Great to have you with us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So for most people, when they hear the phrase child marriage, they think that banning it seems like a given, a slam dunk. But yet there are lots of groups who are opposed to it. We just saw some in that clip there. What are some of the complicating factors that make this not so obvious?
You know, I think it's important to point out that across the United States, 18 really is the minimum age of marriage. And what we're looking at here are exceptions. So people want to get married because they're pregnant, because they want to be emancipated. And a lot of these groups are saying, well, wait a minute, how do we create a system that supports people as they form their families instead of just a blanket ban? Because if you were to just blanket ban something like marriage, would that create situations where perhaps people make pregnancy decisions based on whether or not they can get married? So it's a complicated issue.
Right. And there are cases where you can marry as a minor, but within a certain number, your spouse can only be a certain number of years older than you, correct? Is that
Yes.
to guard against sort of abuse?
It is. Unfortunately, you know, the age of marriage can act as a loophole for statutory rape.
Right.
So in some instances, we've seen situations where, you know, often young women will become involved with much older men in a situation that would otherwise be deemed a criminal offense, and through a marriage, it becomes legal.
Mm-hmm. And some states, though, have laws on the books to prevent that, correct? I think maybe Arkansas, you can be 17, but your spouse can only be 4 years or fewer older than you?
Yes, that's true.
So that would help in those situations. But you're right, it certainly doesn't get rid of all of it. So is there legislation then that can tackle that when child marriage is used as a cover for statutory rape?
You know, at this point, there isn't, because marriage is really a state's right issue. It's governed by the state. And so any changes to the laws have to happen on a state-by-state cases. And statutory rape laws are also governed by the state. On the federal level, there is a law that addresses sex between minors and adults, but it tends not to be enforced on a state level.
And it doesn't include marriage?
It does not include marriage, no.
And so not likely to see any changes to this in the future then, anytime soon?
I mean, I think what's happening across the United States right now is really promising. There aren't a lot of legislative issues that are seeing this kind of sweeping change that's going across. We're likely to see amendments in the laws in both Pennsylvania and Massachusetts this year. So there's a lot of exciting energy behind raising the age of child marriage.
Great. Well, Elaisha Stokes, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about your fantastic documentary.
Thank you.